Very good evening, all. I'm Aditi Lamba with the Wednesday night edition of South Asian News. Welcome to Vision of Asia, the voice of our community. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Here's what's happening tonight in the coronavirus pandemic. There are 29.7 million cases in the world with at least 937,000 deaths. The United States has more than 6.7 million COVID-19 cases and at least 195,000 deaths. Today, the World Health Organization, WHO, warned that COVID-19 is spreading at a worrying pace in some parts of the northern hemisphere, with increase in hospitalizations in ICUs, particularly in Spain, France, Ukraine, and some parts of the United States. This comes as we approach the flu season this fall and winter. The WHO also stated that it may not be until the year 2022 when the world can begin thinking about returning back to a pre-COVID life. On vaccine, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has said that even if COVID-19 vaccine was released, it will take 6 to 9 months to get the people vaccinated here in the nation. The federal government has outlined a sweeping plan to make vaccines for COVID-19 available for free to all Americans. On the education system, overcrowded parties have forced several high schools to go back to online learning entirely in hopes to curb the spread. And these parties have already sent colleges as well as universities struggling to manage outbreaks, with several universities around the country shifting to an entire online learning or quarantining its students and or faculty that are testing positive in states such as Arizona and New York. And while discussing all this, India, home to hundreds of thousands of South Asians living in the US, has now surpassed 5 million cases, and testing continues in tens of thousands of underserved towns and villages of India. Looking at the nation's caseload, India is closing in on the United States tally of COVID-19 cases and is expected to surpass it within weeks. With that, it's time to now start the South Asian News segment for tonight, reflecting much on the community's voice during 2020 elections and more. Here are the headlines. Suman Raghunathan urges South Asian Americans to vote in the upcoming congressional and presidential elections in New York. Edison Democratic Party gathers supporters and officials at its annual Picnic 2020 in New Jersey. Queensborough Board hosts virtual session on New York City small business services featuring U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. A lot more on the other side of the break. Stay with us in Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be back shortly. Welcome again. I am Aditi Lamba, and this is Vision of Asia, Wednesday night episode of South Asian News. We are talking tonight about the upcoming and very important 2020 congressional and presidential elections and the South Asian American voice and vision. Election is November 3rd, with first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden scheduled for end of this month on September 29th, with two more set for October 15th and the 22nd. Up for debate in this election are immigrant issues, the economy, healthcare system, racial justice, COVID-19 relief efforts, handling, and much more. On that, according to statistics provided by non-partisan organization Indiaspora, 2 out of 3 Indian Americans currently favor the Democratic presidential candidate, even though there has been a significant uptick in the community's support for incumbent President Donald Trump. So what are some of the pertinent issues the South Asian diaspora needs to know? And what are both parties' offerings on their platform? Earlier today, we spoke with political strategist and commentator Suman Raghunathan, bringing much insight into elections 2020. She urged all to register to vote and participate in this year's election. Here is Suman Raghunathan. You know, we have you today because so much is happening in the nation, and it's so important to educate our diaspora, especially with less than 2 months to the presidential and congressional elections. I just want to know, starting off this interview, what do you think should be the focus of the South Asian American population residing in the United States right now with the elections coming in? And where do we need to really, assert some understanding?
Well, I think the most important thing for South Asian Americans, which are the second most rapidly growing demographic group across the country, there are over 5.4 million South Asians nationwide. The most important thing is for those of us who can to be prepared to and to make a plan to vote. This is perhaps one of the most, if not the most important election in our lifetimes, in my lifetime certainly, and probably for the last century perhaps. And so it is one that will benefit tremendously from all those who are eligible in our community to make a plan to register to vote and then to be sure to cast those votes. And to finally, to your question, to ensure that they're able to cast the most informed votes possible. Right. There are any number of issues that are on the ballot, not just for the presidential election this year, but for congressional elections, for state legislatures, for local races that deeply impact South Asian Americans across the country. And now is the time for us to be able to telegraph the voice of our community and how committed we are to exercising that voice.
You know, Simon, since we are talking about pertinent issues that really impact the diaspora, what are some of these issues, and what is the weight of these issues when we're looking at both the congressional and the presidential elections?
Yeah, well, I think that over the last 4 years, we have seen a number of assaults and onslaughts against our communities, ranging from efforts to depel immigration, to the rise of white supremacy and racist rhetoric, to questions about policing and the ways that law enforcement are interacting with our communities, all of which deeply impact South Asian Americans. And then the final piece that I will just flag on that front is the response or the lack thereof on the part of the current administration with respect to protecting all in our communities from COVID-19. And we have seen the real life fatal impact of that lack of responsibility or of action, and the ways that it has deeply impacted so many in South Asian American immigrant and communities of color across the country.
So when we are looking at COVID-19, how big of an issue will that be in this election? And just taking off of that, I know you just mentioned the White House and the current administration, but how do you think they have handled COVID-19, especially its relief efforts?
The short answer, Aditi, is that I don't think they have handled it. And that is part of the reason that we're approaching 200,000 people who have died from COVID-19 in what is supposedly one of the most powerful nations in the world. And I think the denigration and the lack of responsibility and response, and perhaps even most fatally, the efforts to deny the power of COVID-19 and its impact has resulted in literally deaths of so many of our community members and of so many people across the country. And if that is not a lack of responsibility, or really a turning on its head the idea of responsibility and leadership in a nation at a moment like this, then I don't know what is.
We again urge all to register to vote for these upcoming elections. And looking more at these elections, campaigns and some events have already started across the tri-state, bringing attention to both local and state officials that are running along with the presidential elections. A report by Indiaspora stated that Indian Americans this year are positioned to make a difference in several swing states with its high number of population residing in states such as Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Texas. Given that the Democratic Party is reaching out to the larger community of South Asians to vote for the party in the November elections, highlighting its presidential candidate as well as vice presidential candidate, South Asian American and African American Senator Kamala Harris. With that, recently in New Jersey, the Edison Democratic Party gathered its officials, candidates, and the greater Indian American community at its annual picnic outside, encouraging all to exercise their right to vote, supporting the Democratic Party and its platform, which promotes immigrant rights, racial equality, social justice, climate change, and much more. Let's take a look at what key members of the Edison Democratic Party had to say.
Hello, ITV Gold and Parikh Worldwide Media. Welcome to our picnic here, EDO picnic. And my name is Mohin Patel. This is Jeannie White, and this is Jerry Shee. We are running for the Edison Board of Education to make sure the future generation has all the tools and the knowledge that they could get from our system here. So we want to make sure that we have everything that they need to succeed, especially with our remote learning, that we're able to make sure that they're getting the tools that they need.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jerry Shi. I'm running for the school board. I'm running for re-election. I have two great running mates, Ginny White and Mohin Patel. And we're the Edison First Team. We're column number 4. Our running platform this year will be a 0% budget increase in 2021. 0% budget increase in 2021. In order to achieve that, you need a team who has the knowledge, who has the know-how, and has the will to get it done. And this is the only team that's running this year can get it done. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Virginia White. We're asking for your support. We want to serve you, and in particular, we want to serve them. We want to do what's best for them. So if you support us, we'll make sure that we accomplish that. Thank you so much.
Thank you ITV and Raja Bharti for covering today's event. Today we are doing our annual EDO picnic. It's a beautiful day. It's a great turnout for all the Democrats, committee people coming here to support, show the unity. We are all united for this November's election. So any viewers, please watching, see how much united we are. We are progressing the town forward, and we want to make sure that all Democrats are united. And please make sure you vote Democrats this November. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. Sudhanshu Prasad, former councilman from Edison, and I'm here at the Edison Democratic Party evening. What a place it is, what a beautiful day. People are gathered here, old friends, you get to meet and talk what's happening. Of course, we're all interested not only in Edison right now, but nationwide, what's happening in the polls. And the general election just a few weeks away now, and we are all excited to have our candidate win, of course, and hopefully people will support on their merits. Thank you very much.
Hello, how are you? This is Edison Democratic Organization annual picnic. As you can see over here, a lot of people, a lot of community people, and a lot of residents from Edison has gathered over here. And I know everyone is having fun over here, and it's good. Edison Democratic Organization is one of the strongest organization. The chairman, as Mohin said earlier, is Mahesh Bhagia. He's Indian, he's South Asian, which is a proud moment for the community. One of the important things I want to tell you is Mohin Patel is running for Edison Board of Education. Mohin Patel, as many people in the community know, has done significant work in the community over a lot of years. He is going to, his plan, I went over his plan and everything for the school board, and it's amazing. And I would ask everyone to support Mohin Patel for Edison Board of Education. He would do excellent. More importantly, he's going to do so many good programs for the youth, for the children, and it's for the children, it's not for us. So Mohin Patel is here. I support Mohin Patel, so I hope you do too. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin here today at the Edison Democratic Picnic, and we're happy to be out together with everybody during this COVID period. Most of us have not been able to get out and really socialize, so it's a nice time to be able to do that. We're all excited about kids getting back to learning. It's not going to be an easy time. They're going to be working virtual in Edison, but we're there to support them in every way we can and to help the parents. It's not going to be easy trying to work and trying to deal with the children. So it's something that we all have to be a community working together. But I'm running this year for county clerk. The election is November 3rd. It's going to be all by mail. People that want to go to the polls on election day can go and do a provisional vote if they want. But you can track your vote online, track in your ballot online now if you want to make sure that it is getting there. There's lots of new rules. Please make sure you're registered. Please get out to vote. The presidential election is key. It's really going to affect all of our lives. We need your vote today. Thank you.
Here at the Edison Democrats Picnic, and Mahesh Bhagia is, of course, our municipal chair. And we're very happy with the job that he's doing so far. A lot of people turned out. Very important that Edison come out and vote for our Democratic ticket this year. And I know Mahesh and others are going to work real hard to make that happen on November 3rd. Thanks so much.
Hello, this is Sam Joshi, Council Vice President from Edison, New Jersey. I'm here today at the Edison Democratic Organization annual picnic. I'm excited to be here right now because there are hundreds of people gathered from the entire community. The Edison Democratic Organization is one of the strongest Democratic organizations in the state of New Jersey. All of our elected officials from a local, state, federal level even came out. Congressman Frank Pallone was here, and he even explained how our representation from Edison makes such an impact in greater New Jersey. So thank you all for joining us. I'm happy to be here.
It's time for this short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be back shortly. And welcome again. This is Vision of Asia South Asian News segment, and I am Aditi Lamba. We now continue to look at the coronavirus pandemic's updates, measures, and impact. Recently in Queens, New York, a virtual session was organized by the Queens Borough Board, chaired by acting Queensborough President Sharon Lee, on the New York City Department of Small Business Services. This comes as the economic ramifications of COVID-19 continue to impact small businesses in the borough and several low-income families, and disproportionately affects communities of color. The virtual session discussed the efforts in helping business owners cope up with the ongoing economic fallout, along with the crisis of food insecurity deeply impacting communities in the borough. Highlighting the need for greater federal government support, resources, and assistance, the virtual session saw U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand give her take on these issues and the need for additional help in feeding children and helping the New York City small businesses. Here's what Senator Gillibrand had to say.
We have, of course, Senator Gillibrand. Thank you so much for agreeing to join us. The senator has been working tirelessly on the Hill on various issues, gun trafficking, gun control, national security, sexual assault and justice issues, but also some of the food insecurity issues. Most recently, she sponsored a legislation that she'll talk about known as the Ensuring Nutrition for America's Students Act. And I'll let her talk more about that. And so, Senator, without further ado, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Borough President Lee, for your kind introduction, but also for suggesting that I join this call and get to talk to everyone about how we can address some of the issues that were raised today. First and foremost, food insecurity. It is such an important issue. And this pandemic has created challenges for everyone, but it has really magnified the challenges that many communities were already facing. COVID and its economic effects have hit low-income communities and communities of color particularly hard. People have lost their jobs, their paychecks, and their ability to put food on the table. 2 weeks ago, Borough President Lee and I had the chance to visit the 9 Million Reasons Food Pantry at Evangel Christian Church, and the line was around the block. I've spent the last month visiting food banks and food pantries across the state. And everywhere I've been, the need for food assistance has been so profound. 1 in 5 parents, many of whom are out of work through no fault of their own, have said that they don't have enough food to feed their children. In a country as rich as this one, that is a sin. In America, we look to the government to use our tax dollars to help those in need, to feed the hungry, and to fulfill that moral obligation we have to those who need our support. Food pantries cannot and should not be asked to meet this rising demand on their own. The federal government must do much more than it's doing today to address this issue. We need Republicans to come to the table and negotiate a COVID package that offers families real relief. So far, none of the proposals that have been offered by Senator McConnell have even come close. McConnell's last proposal had $0 for nutrition funding, 0. Time and time again, they have put the needs of major corporations over the needs of hungry kids. It's truly outrageous. When we say we need relief to provide families with the real relief, here's what I mean. I mean expanding SNAP to help hungry families and extending the pandemic EBT program that covers meals children used to be fed at school, because a lot of our schools are closed or doing remote learning or partially opening. Expanding SNAP is one of the best things that we can do to address hunger in this country. The House relief bill, the HEROES Act, would temporarily raise SNAP's maximum benefit by 15%. That same expansion must be included in the Senate's proposal so we can help the families afford to buy the groceries to feed their kids. Extending the pandemic EBT will help families cover new food expenses. So when school starts, the last students already started. Many students will be joining their classrooms remotely or only part-time. So that means fewer hours spent at school and fewer school breakfasts and school lunches that the kids will actually get access to. Before this crisis, more than 204,000 students in Queens received free or reduced cost lunch at school. For many of these students, that would be the most substantial meal or the most healthy meal that they would eat in a day. Their parents rely on those meals to keep their children well-nourished and to make ends meet. Not getting enough to eat only makes it harder for children to learn and to stay healthy at a time when both are already very challenging. I know that many schools in New York are offering grab and go meals, but for parents who work or can't get to the pickup site, that's not an option. In fact, nationwide, only about 15% of the families who qualify for free or reduced lunch have been able to pick up those meals. Parents who are out of work or working fewer hours simply don't have the time or money to cover these additional meals at home. PEBT can help bridge that financial gap. This summer, it helped that up to 3.5 million children across the country avoid going hungry, but it's set to expire at the end of the month. Roughly 1 million children in New York City who are eligible for PEBT cannot afford for that to happen. My bill, the Ensuring Nutrition for America's Students Act, builds off the HEROES Act by including all of its provisions for the PEBT while also creating more flexibility and extending coverage to children who have been slipping through the cracks. It would do that by extending the program through the 2020 to 2021 school year and allowing states to provide benefits to not only school-age children, but also young children who would have received free meals while at daycare or childcare. It would also expand the program to cover students who qualify for free or reduced lunch, but whose schools do not participate in the federal meal programs. No child in this country should be left out simply because of the school they attend. My bill would also keep the existing system, which provides benefits if schools close for 5 consecutive days or more, but it would also ensure that the program covers all of the other times students will spend out of school while at home distance learning or on alternating schedules. This is not an issue that we should be asking kids to wait for. You cannot provide meals retroactively. One of the biggest advantages of providing assistance through the PEBT program is that it can be rolled out quickly by just adding money to the EBT cards that families are already using. And these benefits can go to families of all immigration statuses, and the public charge rule does not apply. So this bill will not leave out immigrant families in need. I know that this is a priority issue in Queens, and I want you to know that it's a priority issue for me in Washington. I will keep working very hard to get this bill across the finish line, and I'll keep working to make sure that my colleagues on both sides of the aisle fully understand how urgent this issue is and to urge them to make it a priority. The need is really that great. And now I'd be happy to take questions on this bill or any other issue that relates to what I can do for you guys.
And this wraps up our show for the night. Remember to send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch many of our popular shows for free. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia. I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.